The Gradient, and I'm here with these two lovely gentlemen, Kyron and Duran, and we'll be talking about how AI affects the workforce and our overall lives.
I am Duran, and I will be introducing the good and optimistic side of using AI in our near future.
And for fairness sake, my name is Kyron Jackson, and I will be explaining to you all exactly why the idea of an AI takeover is such a widespread paranoia amongst the general public, and how it understandably might come to be more of competition than remain as just an aid. Now, with all that said and done, let's dive into our points.
Alright, to start off, how many of you have used AI in this room?
Me.
Right. So it's a pretty big part of our lives. It's very familiar to us, but we have to do ask the question, how does it actually affect our lives? Like, how deep does it run inside of our veins?
So, for the first, automating tasks. It really helps increase the efficiency of our work, and it is also very cost effective, while it can also improve our accuracy in our work too.
Now, with all of these listed up here, each and every one of these facts, you may be struggling to think, how would AI be detrimental in any kind of way with all of these beneficial facts listed up here? And you'd be right in saying that. I agree that AI is actually a very valuable resource that companies and businesses like. In fact, it's actually a little bit too good. See, when you have something like AI that raises and solves as many solutions in an automated, repetitive area, these automated, repetitive areas are actually people's sources of income, and it raises the ethical question of whether or not it's right to prioritize efficiency over people having a stable source of income for themselves. Which, let's face it, most faceless businesses aren't going to sacrifice small-scale morals for efficiency for their product. Which is not something I think we should blame them for, but I do think it's worth pointing out.
And then on top of that, it also allows us to bring in a job where you can have AI maintenance, which employs a very small amount of people.
Now we're going to talk about how AI enhances our data analysis.
Alright, so it processes data at very high speeds, so really just slowing down the time that we would actually take to analyze and interpret the data ourselves. So it is also very predictive and can think out many different strategies for analyzing the data too.
Now, even I can admit that when it comes to data analysis, I really don't think that AI can be beat. There's no competition for it in this field, and I feel that it's entirely fair to replace it all with just AI rather than human work. This is where AI was made, this is how it was born, this is how it learns, it's just right. But the issue arises in a different area. See, AI by default is a completely neutral tool that's easily susceptible to bias within its data readings. This bias can show up in training data and easily ruin processes such as the hiring process. And it can also introduce data that you just wouldn't want within your system, whether it's ethics that you don't agree with as a business leader, or if it's just ethical concerns that you just don't want to associate with yourself at all as a business.
Alright, so AI does in fact help us with our learning opportunities, and we're going to talk about how it personalizes our learning opportunities.
Okay, so with the personalized learning opportunities, it allows everyone to learn at their own pace. So if you need to learn slower, then you can slow it down, or if you're learning faster than everyone else, you can learn faster. And with that, there's a quote from Gensing that quoted Robert Garcia. In attending several conferences, we recently have heard that many presenters admit to ChatGPT making about 80% of their presentations.
Now, I feel that the citation that Duran just explained to you all can actually help aid my point as well, that in an opposite reaction, AI can completely take over and provide it can serve as a crutch in extreme scenarios for lazy employees, and can also just create a bad work ethic. In general, if you have AI in the back of your corner as just a do your homework kind of solution.
Now, AI does in fact help us communicate. I'm sure all of you have used AI to help you understand something, and we're going to talk about how that algorithm helps us communicate better in our lives.
So It streamlines your communication, which really speeds up the rate at which you can communicate with others, and also helps you communicate in large groups, so that way everyone can grow.
For larger organizations that can't afford to spread their resources thin and just have valuable employees stuck at customer service jobs, AI is actually very valuable in that department. But it can also easily weaken company dynamics such as social interaction and how well employees are able to work together in a business setting. You don't want AI to automate every single part of your business setting just so that you have some sort of team dynamic across the board. And it also can end up feeling very alienating if you use, say, AI to replace customer service. Human on human interaction is something that can't be replicated easily by just AI. So, like I said, it can end up being very alienating for the person having to deal with it.
AI does help us in our work. It boosts our productivity and it helps us meet our deadlines, but it can also hurt our deadlines.
So with that, with the automated tasks and the analysis efficiency, there is really just about no problem that AI really cannot solve. All it really does is create band-aid solutions to our problems until we can actually figure out how to crack down on them ourselves.
AI does have a few universal kinks though, like any good system that's still very early on in the works. And one of these would be privacy concerns. AI does not really have any set boundaries for privacy and does have the issue of intruding in multiple people's private info that might just be very hidden but still out there, as well as causing a lot of room for such as data breaches.
In conclusion, I mean, like, AI is a very helpful tool, but it is also a very hurtful tool in many circumstances, and we like to see the only positive side, but we also have to see the negative side of it.
So, with that, there are our dual impact point, our adaptation is key point, and our strategic implementation points.
AI has proved itself to be a very beneficial tool for companies and commoners alike, but it has also raised a bunch of ethical, security, and moral concerns. Ethical and moral concerns, the same thing. It's raised ethical, security, and I'd like to say it's really just those two actually. These are the only things that it's really so far. But, you know, amongst the common man, it's very reasonable to assume and fear the idea that something as efficient as AI being in your workplace can take over your jobs. And when jobs and sources of income are already as hard as they are to find today, you don't want the extra competition from something that's completely automated and not living.
And with that, I'd like to thank you all for coming and listening to our presentation. Thank you.